Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Still in Love podcast. This is episode number 14. And what are we talking about today?
Let's talk about the heart and the hard things in marriage.
So the heart, the Heart, the things of the heart and hard. So those things that are hard to talk about.
Yes.
What is hard or difficult to talk about in marriage? We're going there first?
Yeah. Let's talk about that first.
What's hard? What would be a hard thing to talk about in marriage?
A hard thing is really sharing how you truly feel about something that your spouse is doing or is not doing.
And things that may be hard to say or hear.
Both. I think it's things that's hard to say and things that's hard to hear. It's hard for you to say it, and it's hard for you to receive as well. You know, those things need to be talked about.
It does.
It need to be talked about. And so many marriages struggle because we don't talk about the hard stuff. And so you end up being married for 10, 15, 20 years and never really having the hard conversation. But you have feelings, you have thoughts about it, but you don't deal with it, you know. And so because I don't want to hurt their feelings or because it's hard to say something and I'm concerned about how you're going to feel when I say this to you. Yeah. And I don't really understand, you know, conflict resolution. And if I say this, it may cause a conflict and I don't know how to resolve conflict and I don't want to say anything. So I'll just, you know,
not say
anything, keep it moving, you know, and just deal with the thing that I really, you know, don't want to deal with. And it becomes difficult, you know, when that happens. And so I think it's important in marriage that you talk about hard things.
So what is something that would be hard for a brother to hear?
Or be hard for a brother to hear?
Mm-hmm. An example.
Oh, gosh. I mean, it depends on the brother. I think, you know, and it's, you know,
let's just talk generally.
Generally, what may be hard for a brother to hear, but what may be truthful is that he has a lot of pride.
Ooh.
That may be hard for a brother to hear it. It may be hard for him to hear that he's not he's not sensitive to your needs. He's not considerate of you. It may be hard for him to hear that he's not you know, loving or compassionate. And so I think those are some things that could be hard for a brother to receive. I mean, just several things. It depends on the brother, the insecurities of a man, you know. When you're talking, I think it's important to talk about sex, you know, to talk about the likes and dislikes in sex. And so if you're saying something tough pertaining that, you know, about his performance, that can be really hard for a man to hear, if you know.
So let's go there.
All right, let's go.
If there's a sister that's listening and she's like, I really want to talk to my husband about his sexual performance, I'm just not pleased. It ain't happening. It's not there. It's not there. How does she need to say that?
Pray. I think, you know, you have to bathe this in prayer. Okay. You can't just say what you want to say, when you want to say it, and how you want to say it.
I don't want to. When I say I am speaking for her. I don't want to say it. I want to be able to communicate it because I want it to change.
Wait a minute. First, are you not pleased?
I'm very pleased.
Oh,
sir.
okay. I'm just
Let's be clear. And I said that I am
right.
not speaking for myself. I am speaking for the sister who is not.
So I think this is what has to happen. There has to be prayer prior to that.
Okay.
And because it's in communicating what you feel, you have to. There's a timing aspect of it. It's a time to share. It's a tone to share. And it's a text. It's what you're sharing. Mm-hmm. So that's very important in communication. The time of the tone and the text. You cannot forget that. When you forget that, you've lost it.
Okay.
And so I think it's important to talk about it. You have to talk about it, but the timing of it. Mm-hmm. How am I going to say what I'm getting ready to say?
So right after we've just been intimate.
Not right after we've been intimate.
Okay.
Not just it's how you say it. You know, I don't like your performance. You don't do it for me. You don't make me reach the my climax. You know, you don't. And I'm not satisfied. You don't just say it like that. So I think it's how you say it, but I think it should be said, and maybe it's, hey, listen, just want to, creating an environment where it's safe to talk and to receive, and I think one, it should always be an environment that you all are discussing and having, conversations that's transparent and honest. But if that's not the case, it's really trying to create an environment where they're safe, and just communicating. Hey, listen, man, I love you, and finding the good in it. Hopefully, there's something that he does that's good. It's something that he does that is satisfying, and let him know, when you do this, I love this. When you do that, I love this. When you touch me here, I love that. This is something pertaining to our performance that I would like, us to really look at. I like to be touched like this. I like to be rubbed like this. I like when you do this here. Can you do more of this? And just, ask, can we have a conversation about our intimate, life, and I think it's starting off. Listen, start off with the good. Start off with the good, with the affirmation, with the what you really enjoy, and then get to those things that's a little more difficult and that you don't enjoy and that you would like them to do more. But there's been several people, just that in marriage that really don't ever talk about and have never really talked about what makes them happy,
Right.
what makes them get to a certain place in doing intimacy, what they don't like, and so some people would just, well, because he like it, then I'm just gonna roll with it.
Right.
Because he want to do this, I'm just,
Right.
but I don't really enjoy it. And he was thinking that I thought you was enjoying this. Well, no, I never enjoyed that. I never said that I enjoyed that. Well, you never said that you didn't enjoy it. And so just really trying to be open to talk about that more and express that more, and it'll make your marriage, your life, your sex life, your intimate life that much more better when you're able to talk about it. So if it's something that's not working for you, communicate, because maybe that's something that he can change. It's something that he can make the adjustments that he need to make, because he don't know that it's broke if you never tell him, and so he won't try and fix it.
Very good.
Yeah. So
Very good.
so that could be difficult, but I think it's important to have those conversations. But some people don't have the hard conversations because their spouse is not receptive of hard conversations.
Yeah, so that was going to be my next
Okay,
lead in,
let's go.
because if I am talking to him for a sister who's talking to her husband about sex and what she may desire, I'm thinking about how difficult that may be if it's never been a part of her. If we don't talk about it, period, I'm just going to go in. Even though I'm going to give the good, if we've never, for the most part, had a conversation about our sex life, then at the end of this particular conversation, it's I'm walking away with a negative, especially if we've never talked about it before. So it just seems like maybe there needs to be some a extra dialogue before we even go into the problem. Like maybe her asking the question first, like, how do you feel about it, and leaving it at that. Don't come into it with the intent to walk away from the conversation with you saying what's been difficult or what you don't like, because then he may feel like, oh, that was a setup. You was asked,
That's right.
you asked me so that you could turn around and tell me. Like, give it some time. Ask first, then wait a minute, wait a while, wait some days, a couple of weeks or so, and then okay. Just being very wise about that, especially if we have not had a conversation about it, because that could be really hard.
Absolutely.
That could be really hard. That could be hard.
Absolutely. And I think it's, really, because people live with concerns and issues and needs not being met or desires not being met, and they don't say anything. They just suppress it.
Yeah.
And so for years, you suppress something that you really desire. This is what you desire, but you never say anything about it.
Well, in order to do that, though, we have to go back to what we've been talking about for the last few weeks, and that's even knowing what you like, knowing what you desire, knowing yourself enough. We talked about this, even the ladies at the marriage retreat. Like, you have to know yourself, and you have to be okay with yourself. You have to, it's almost like we have to get beyond a point of you have to no longer be worried about the stretch marks. You have to no longer be worried about your size. You have to no longer be worried about your body image and all of that. You have to be very, very comfortable with yourself so that you can even think about pleasure. You can even think about what you desire. So, before we get here, for I think some people, it's we have to cover some other ground just about loving yourself enough to even, and even that's tied into being able to accept when somebody brings something to you like, yeah, I don't like that, or I want you to do that. You have to be okay with you to be able to say, oh, okay, well, I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, I can accommodate like that. I'm comfortable enough with you. I'm comfortable enough in our relationship, and I'm comfortable enough with me to make a move on that. So, but look at how many layers that we've had to get through, and how okay I have to be with myself in order to do that. And I think that goes both ways. That's just not for the sisters, that's for the brothers too.
Absolutely.
Like, in order for you to hear that, you have to be okay with, oh, okay, you don't think I'm the man right there, huh? I bet. Watch this.
Then you have to turn into Bobby Brown.
What?
If it ain't good enough, baby, I'll work harder.
Don't say it.
I ain't gonna say the rest
Don't
of it.
say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't
So
say
you
it.
have so when it's communicated and something that's not on point, then you have to work harder to make sure that you meet that need.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? To where
Yes.
it's try not to be offended by it,
Right.
but hear them
Right.
and make sure that you work to meet that need. And
Right.
that's that. But it comes from it has to be from a secure place, because if that person is not secure, and that's why sometimes hard conversations are difficult, because I don't mind saying it, but if I say this to my dude and he already
over.
insecure, I can't
It's
say
over.
anything to him.
Yeah.
So if I say this to him, I might as well pack up, because he gonna shut
over.
down and put me out and want to fight and ain't gonna say nothing to me. And,
Yeah.
and so that's what becomes difficult. So now you got the sister that's saying, so that's my situation, or the brother. What do I do if my spouse is insecure, and how do I have hard conversations with a spouse that's insecure and don't want to hear hard conversation?
Well, that's why you said at the beginning, pray, pray. You have to pray because the Lord has to go before you. Okay. So another hard thing.
Okay.
My spouse, and I think this is there are some sister friends out there who are experiencing that. Who's experiencing this? My man is prideful. And not only is he prideful, but he's Nabal.
And who is Nabal?
Of what the Bible described him. Well, Nabal means fool, but he's the husband of Abigail, and she had to use her wisdom to keep calamity from coming upon her home. But yeah, so not only can I not tell him nothing, because a fool lacks understanding. You can't tell him nothing. They don't even desire it, according to Proverbs. But outside of that, he has the audacity to even be prideful in the lack of knowledge that he doesn't have. What do I do? Not me. What does the sister friend do?
Yeah, you have to bathe this thing in prayer, because he doesn't want to hear anything, because he is prideful, And I think it goes back to, the communication of creating an atmosphere where you can talk. And you have to be as wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove when you're dealing with him.
Okay.
Because he's already prideful. So there's certain things you can't say, and there's certain things or you can say it, but there's certain things he's just not going to receive. And you never want to communicate just to say that you communicated. You want to communicate to be effective.
Yep.
And how can I be effective with a prideful person? I think with anyone, it's earning the right to be heard. So you have to earn the right to be heard in relationships with people that you don't have a strong relationship with, but you also have to earn the right to be heard in people that you have strong relationships with. So because just because you have a strong relationship with an individual don't mean that they hear you.
Yes.
So I need to earn the right for you to hear me. And I do that by hearing you. So when I hear you, I set an example of what you should do for me. You should hear me. And so I think that groundwork has to be laid before you dealing with anyone prideful.
Okay.
Because pride is the sin of the devil.
Come on
You know,
now.
all sin is sin, but pride is the one that got him did in, you
Right,
know.
right.
And so when you're dealing with someone that's prideful, you have to be very, 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 very careful, very, very diligent, and very wise in dealing with that. And you have to tread lightly.
Yeah.
You have to really tread lightly,
Yeah.
and it has to be bathed with prayer and ask God to go before you and lead and direct that conversation. Sometimes it's really helping to get him in a place of accountability with another man or another leader. What's important is for you to try to get him in a environment where there's accountability. You know, a men group. You know, or a pastor that's able to hold him accountable and really pray that these brothers would be able to speak to some of this pride in his life as well. You know, and I think it's creating an atmosphere of honest dialogue. You know, let's have honest dialogue, and you know, just ask, hey, can we implement, you know, just once every 2 weeks, just a check-in and really talking about, you know, just whatever's been on our heart and whatever's been on our mind. And then, you know, during those times, not the first and second time, but during those times, and you make sure that you all commit to that. And then you talk about, you know, something that's on your heart, and you talk about something else. And then maybe the third time you talk about just how you feel about the pride, and how you feel that I feel like it's very difficult to say anything to you or to say a lot to you. I feel like it's pride, and you don't receive it, you don't say anything back, or you don't address it, you don't respond to it. And these are the things that I mean. So paint that picture, and if they become defensive in that moment, or prideful in that moment, this is exactly what I'm talking about. I feel like I've not been sharing the things that I really desire to share, because I feel like, you know, you never heard me. Or when I tried to share it, on this occasion, and I feel like it wasn't heard. And so I want to be heard. I want, you know, and the pride is there, and it's affecting, you know, us. And so, but I think all of you have to do that groundwork prior to sharing, you know, and that's earning the right to be heard. So when they share with you, make sure you're responding in such a way that it could be an example to your prideful husband. You know,
That was good. That was good. All right, so you go. What would be difficult for a brother or what conversation would be difficult for a brother to have with his wife? Hard conversation.
I think, you know, talking about her insecurities, you know, him really addressing, you know, and same thing. But
The insecurity, or how it's showing up in the relationship.
how it's showing up in the relationship, you know, because oftentimes it shows up in defensiveness, you know, and he feels that I can't share anything, you know, because of the defensiveness. You know, you taking things personal, you know, and so I think that's a hard conversation. So he's, you know, she's perfect. She got everything under wraps. And so I can't really say she's controlling. So any of those symptoms of being defensive, it's like, it's not safe to communicate that.
Yeah.
You know, if I say, you know, you're controlling, you're defensive, you know, I can't say anything to you, I can't correct you, you know, it's going to be a problem. And so I think that's a hard conversation. So some brothers just fall back and don't communicate it, you know, and just, I'm just going to let her be controlling, or let her be defensive, or, you know, because I don't want any smoke.
Okay.
And I think, you know what I'm saying? Cause,
Okay.
She gonna,
the smoke he will get.
Yeah,
Okay.
he'll get it. And so I think that's really, really tough. And so conversations are not really had, you know, and because he doesn't say anything, and he suppresses it and don't deal with it at all.
It's crazy to me that even though I think and I certainly don't speak for all women, but for a lot of us, it is, even though we know we may have controlling tendencies, we hate that word. Like, we really hate, don't say I'm controlling. Just say that I want my way. Or say that I just like what I like. But please don't say that I'm controlling, because it sounds like, you know, and especially for I know I hate to hear it. Like, it's, if you ever say, or like you have said, like, well, this is how I come across, like you trying to control me or you're controlling. And I'm like, it's devastating because it's like nobody. I'm not controlling. I'm just saying that maybe my way would be a better way, or that what how I'm viewing it really is the correct way that it should be viewed.
Come on, keep on talking.
You know,
Y'all hear it? Y'all hear it? Don't
but
y'all hear
I
it?
listen.
No, I
But
guess.
that is the feeling in your mind. That is the feeling. Like, yeah, this way, this is the right way to go. This is the right way to drive across this parking lot. Why did you drive at an angle? Why didn't you just go the long way? That's crazy. And the expression of that is it sounds controlling.
Yep. Yep.
That's crazy. What we deem as input, because we can do that as women to each other. Girl, why you driving across this parking lot like that?
Yeah.
Girl, why are you? Girl, why you? Girl. But you can't do that. You can't do that per se in marriage because it comes across as controlling.
Yep. Yep. So I think
crazy.
I think having those conversations those are hard conversations to have.
Yes. Yes.
You know,
because we don't see it that way. We just feel like I'm just what? I ain't saying nothing. I'm just what? It's what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also hard conversations to have. You know, I think it's the same with a woman. It's sex. You know, really what he like, what he doesn't like, the quantity of it. You know, how much is happening. I think that's a hard conversation to have. You know, because somehow she's trained him to not talk to her about that.
Okay.
She's trained him to not have, desires, to be okay with what she gives. And so it's that's tough to talk about, like, because it's you train to once a week or once every 2 weeks. You train to
Here.
this gonna do. You train to, don't you ask me for that.
Okay.
I know you won't. I
Okay.
know you want to
Okay.
do it in this position, but I don't do that. I know you would like to perform this on me. I don't do that. And so he doesn't. It's not a safe place. It's not a safe conversation to have. And so he's sitting over here with frustration and like, I want to do this and I want to do that, and but I can't even have that conversation with you. So I just have to make do with whatever you give. You know what I'm saying? I have to make do and get it whenever you give it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we have this place that when we come to work, this place that sells smoothies, and we like this. I like this particular kind. They strawberry, and they have strawberries when they want to have strawberry. Maybe
would
it
be
ain't strawberry
correct.
season, and so
That would be
we got
correct.
watermelon lemonade. We got, no, I don't want watermelon lemonade, and so if you're gonna get a smoothie, then it's gonna be watermelon lemonade. And so sometimes, even if I don't want watermelon lemonade, I just go ahead and get it because they don't have the strawberry. So they dictate when they're gonna have strawberry, and you either gonna get in line or you're not gonna get anything.
Yep.
So if I want a smoothie, either I'm gonna get what they have for me, that watermelon lemonade, or I ain't gonna have it. I'm like, I want the strawberry. I want to go and communicate. Look, can y'all go and get some strawberries from somewhere else? Y'all got to make it in y'all in y'all own field, grow them in y'all own, on y'all own land, But anyway, it's, and I think that's how it is for some brothers. Is, if I got a problem with it, it may cease. If I communicate about it, it doesn't happen anyway because I've already tried, and
Right.
they become defensive, and so it's all working together because I really can't say anything to her, so I just take whatever is given, And some brothers feel like I get the leftovers. I get whatever they want to give because they dictate the when, the how, the where, that it goes down. And so that's a hard conversation to have. So I think it's important, and you answer this. What do you think the brother that's listening, that's tuning in, he's this is how he feel.
Okay.
And he feel that he can't talk with her because she's there. She dictates when, how, where, what she don't want to do. But and he just takes whatever she gives him if he's gonna have something. But he's really not satisfied. How should he communicate that to his wife?
Pray. Pray. Same thing goes for her. He's going to have to bathe it, like you said, in prayer. Ask the Lord to go before you. And we can't, again, what you said, we can't dismiss the importance of that, because you're going to need the Lord to go before you to soften the heart, to prepare the heart for what's getting ready to be said, so that it can fall on good ground, so that it could fall on ground that will bear fruit. And then he's going to, it is about timing, tone, and text. When he talks about it is very important. And honestly, if he has not bathed that thing in prayer, I don't care when the timing is right. It'll never be right. The timing will never be right. If first things first, go before the Lord with it. But when he has the conversation, it should be when she is happy and feeling well about herself, not in a moment where she is struggling with she can't be struggling with nothing. So you got to catch it. You got to catch her when she is well fed. Hear me. When you know this to be true. When you say, let's go get something to eat. When you say, it does something. Like food and a woman is and not that we're gluttonous or want to be around here just eating all the time, but food does something to us. It does something for us. So feed me well, give me an excellent dessert, and I'm not saying you can tell me anything, but that would be a great gateway for you to have a conversation with me that might otherwise be difficult.
Okay.
Feed me well. You're going to pray. You're going to take me out to eat. You're going to feed me well. And then you're going to make sure that that you start in light, especially if we have not had a previous conversation about
Girl, anybody gonna feed you, just had no conversation with you.
Well,
ain't nobody gonna feed you.
You better feed her. You better feed her. If you want her to hear, you better feed her. All of some of the comedy that comes across on social media about it was one guy did a video and he was like, how to make my wife not be mad at me. Come on, we finna go get something to eat. And it goes away because there's something about food and women, and we love a good meal, and we love it. Food opens the door. So open the door, brother. Take her, get her something good to eat, or a favorite snack or food or whatever. And then I'm saying all it jokingly, but timing is important because you do want to catch her when she's in a good space to receive it. Spirits are high, happy, and not preoccupied. The tone, how you say it. I know sometimes it's difficult for brothers to not be blunt and to not say things harsh, but this one thing, if you're going to talk about sex, please don't be harsh. Watch what you say and the terminology that you're using to communicate it. And then the rest, because the Lord has gone before you, you just have to trust that what you're saying, keep it clear and keep it precise, and which I don't think brothers will have a problem with. Say it and get on up out of there. Don't prolong it. Don't try to, and please don't compare. Stay away from comparisons with what I used to like or what I'm used to, or I had this done to me and I would because then that has everything that you did or said prior to that is now null and void. Now we fighting. Now you want to fight. So, I think there you have it.
And I think when we talk about the hard things. These things are hard, and also heart issues, because it's of the heart. It's communicating. I remember you communicating to me about you felt that I wasn't I wasn't paying attention to you. What was going on with you. Things have changed about you. Things where you were dealing with things mentally, and it was as if I did not notice that. Those are matters. Those are hard. You being able to communicate that, and me being able to really try, to get where you coming from. Okay, those are matters of the heart. You communicated and not something blanket. I think when communicating with men, it's very important to try to be as specific as possible because oftentimes we black and white, and I have some examples of when you did this, this is what that meant to me, so it communicated something about the heart to me, and so I think that's important. And also for men, we got to realize that you all may not be black and white, and we have to work to figure that out.
Yep.
So I think on both sides we have to know that what she's not going to be as black and white as we are, but we have to see her and we have to figure that out. And she may not communicate all the time what's going on with her. And I said before jokingly, but seriously, a part of our job description as husbands is mind readers. You know what I'm saying? We have to really be good at really, or attempting to, and not reading the mind, but just really being in tune and locked in to know your wife, and so those are hard, matters of the heart, and even pride and insecurities, those are matters of the heart,
Yes,
and they're very hard,
Yes,
to
sir.
talk about, but I think it's creating that atmosphere and making sure, if you're that's tuning in, you making sure that you're not the individual, that that's difficult for your spouse to talk to. Are you the one that is very insecure and really won't receive anything, or are you the one that's prideful and don't want to receive anything? And if that's the case, that's difficult for the person on the other end. And so making sure you're working on you, and the more you work on you, the more receptive you'll be to your spouse that's communicating how they're feeling. And when they communicate how they're feeling, don't dismiss them, but receive it and work to work on yourself.
And the reality is, nobody walking this earth is perfect.
That's right.
Nobody is. We all have something that somebody could interact with that will be a little challenging.
Yep.
So know that about yourself. Like, I'm not perfect. So allowing my spouse to be able to say something to me about something makes not only me better, but it makes me better for the relationship, which is in essence going to make us better.
Absolutely.
And if we are better, then life is just better.
Yep.
It's just
That's
better.
it.
We're more in sync. We are, and I'm not talking about these ooey gooey feelings of love. I'm just saying we're able to live peaceably when we're working on each other.
Yep.
So,
That's good.
that's it.
So before we sign off,
Okay.
we got a couple of questions that we want to address.
All
You
right,
ready?
let's do it.
All right, let's go. Here we go. A couple of questions that we want to address. Couples have and I like this part because I know couples have questions all the time, and I like for us to get to them, to speak to them, to address it, to let them know that we hear you, we hear what you're saying, and so here we go. So should spouses fulfill each other's fantasies if it has nothing to do with sin and it doesn't bring any harm or damage to them? And if a spouse is not pleased with sex, should that spouse hold sex from them?
Yeah. If you are not pleased with sex, like we just talked about, here's an amazing opportunity for you to have a conversation with your spouse
That's right.
about what is missing, what may be lacking. So that's the first part. We answered that?
Yep. And so should your spouses fulfill each other's fantasies if it has nothing to do with sin and it doesn't bring any harm or damage to them?
Fulfilling a fantasy that has nothing to do with sin.
And that's not harmful.
And that's not harmful. I mean, the marriage bed is undefiled. If there's a fantasy, it is, and like you said, it's without sin and it doesn't cause any harm. I mean, the marriage bed is undefiled.
Yeah.
Do fantasy away.
And we
And
elaborate.
as long as it doesn't involve other people,
Yeah. Because
and
that's sin.
That is
Yeah.
like, now I can't be around here fantasizing about somebody else and then I'm intimate or sharing this moment with my spouse. You got to be very, very careful with that because that can lead to other things. But yeah, do your thing.
Yeah.
If you want him to put on a leotard and a wig, and
If
you
you
get
want
some pet. Hold. I'm not
Girl,
finished. If you want
okay.
him to put on a leotard and have like animals and stuff in the bedroom, and you want him to like jump off the bed and like jump on the floor like Tarzan. You want him to give Tarzan vibes. The marriage bed is undefiled. I'm sure Amazon sells
I don't approve. I
leotards
don't
for
approve
men.
of this message here. I don't know what you got going on. So
I'm sure Amazon
it's something you've been
sells
trying to you
leotards.
want to say to me.
What's that? What size you wear? What size you wear?
Oh my goodness, my goodness.
Woo
And
woo.
we did an entire podcast on this.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
did an
So go back
episode.
and check that out.
Yep, on the marriage bed, and we elaborated on it. So that'll be good. Go and check it out. We
Yeah.
elaborated on it. Okay, we had this conversation over and over again, and one of us still isn't getting pleased. How do we fix this
Sexually?
problem sexually, but we remain faithful? So we've had the conversation over and over again, but still somebody's not getting pleased. How do we fix this problem and still remain faithful?
I think, I don't know, depends on the relationship. But I think sometimes just like, hey man, like, what's up? What's up? Now we done talked about this.
Kiss me right there, kiss me right there. Ooh,
We
baby,
talked
it's
about
all
this
right, it's
several
all right.
times.
What are we gonna do? You keep it right there, keep it right there, keep it right. Talk about it.
Again.
Coach me.
But
Coach him.
in the moment. In the
While
moment.
yes, in the moment.
Yes,
coach.
that's what I'm saying,
Right here,
in the
right
moment.
here. Go down. Come up. Come. Talk about it.
Yes.
And I think with that question, let's begin with the end in mind.
Come on,
The
brother.
end in mind is this.
Come on. What's
And
the
remain
end goal?
and remain faithful. Whoa.
Yes.
That's not even up for negotiation.
Right.
That's not up for discussion.
Right.
We're gonna be faithful.
Right.
Whether we're pleased or not. So
Correct.
let's get that part off the table.
Correct.
Now,
We can talk about the house.
let's talk about pleasing one another. And I think that's what happens. People have that as an option. Leaving the marriage or being unfaithful. And that's not an option.
Correct.
So get that off the table in your heart.
Yep.
And now let's work.
Yep.
Let's work.
Because
How
it
do-
helps you to get laser
Yes.
focused on,
Yes.
I don't have another
That's
option.
right.
And when you don't have another option, you only focus on what's in front of you.
That's
What
right.
is before
Absolutely.
you.
Absolutely. So I think that's the piece. And so give your all to it. And let's talk about it. Like, listen, so it's still not being said. I'm still not being pleased. And not like I'm still not being pleased, but I still would like, us to do this right here. And I would
Yeah.
like this. And let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And let's coach
Yeah. Like, why you not doing it?
in the moment.
Yeah.
Do this.
Why you not doing it?
Yes. And I think, prayerfully, and be vocal about it,
Yeah. Why you not doing it?
Well, yeah. Well, so what's up? I mean, what's the problem?
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and it was just I don't get how in a marriage, because this is how I feel. If your spouse wants something,
Well,
do everything in your power to make that happen.
you're saying that as a healthy individual and as a healthy minded individual. When the mind is not healthy, when the heart is not healthy, I don't look at life like that. To
So
the pure, all things are pure.
So you have to work on getting a healthy mind because
Ding,
of
ding,
the
ding,
because
ding,
of
ding.
because of the lack of
Health.
help that you have to your mind. It is causing turmoil, frustration,
Correcto.
bitterness, pain, suppression, problems, headaches, depression for your spouse.
Like John said, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health. In every area of your life. Now, John didn't say that, but in every area, we should be pursuing health
Yep.
in every area of our lives. Physical health, mental health, spiritual health. All three.
Yep.
We exist in all three. All three should be healthy. And we have to always be in pursuit of healthiness in those areas.
Yep.
I don't have to, we have to always be in pursuit of that.
Yep.
Okay, what else you
Next
got?
question. My husband is 59 and I'm 46.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't initiate intimacy like he used to.
Okay.
Does it have anything to do with his age, or is there something else I should be concerned about? He tired.
Why is the brother tired?
He 59.
Because he's 59. So brothers at 59 are tired?
He tired.
He's not tired.
The brother tired. Give him a break.
He may not be tired. I don't think he's tired.
This brother, she talking about tired.
He may not be tired, though.
It's okay. Your husband tired. He 59. He been working. He got kids and grandkids, and he tired.
I don't think so. I think we have talked about this several times about what could possibly be going on. And you've talked about ED, erectile dysfunction, and how as brothers get older, that comes into play. And if that is the case, then the encouragement is to seek medical help because there are solutions. So, but the admittance of that, from what I understand from a brother, is very, very hard. So that would be first. If there is infidelity, if if he is getting his needs met elsewhere, then there is a chance that I don't want to initiate it with you because I'm getting what I need sexually, even relationally, from someplace else. And another is what?
It's ED, it's marital unfaithfulness, and medical issues. So there may be medical issues involved. And I think
beyond erectile dysfunction.
Yeah.
Right,
so he could be,
right.
just some type of medical issues that's preventing it, or some type of medications.
Correct.
That prohibits him from having an erection, or having that type of desire, for a strong sexual drive. And so those things are very important. And I think it's important that you have these conversations with them, letting them know how this is making you feel, and you're concerned about him. And are there any health concerns? Are there any medical conditions? Are there any, medicines that, he's taking that's causing him to not desire it as he once did? Is he experiencing erectile dysfunction? Are you being very sensitive to that, with him, because it's difficult for some men to talk about it. So what they'll do is just, they just won't initiate it. But I think those conversations are very important. So I'm not sure what it is in his case. And it could just be because he's getting older and his sex drive is not what it used to be. But really having those conversations is very, very important.
And she said she was how old?
She's 46.
And so you're getting ready to peak.
At
46.
Yes.
That drive is coming up it's coming up, and his is doing possibly the opposite.
Yep.
So, yep.
All right, I think this is good. This was really good.
It was good.
Talking about the hard stuff and the hard stuff.
Yep.
And so just know, bathe it in prayer. It's in your timing, it's in your tone, and it is in your text. And so you can do this. Have the tough conversations, making sure the environment is created for those conversations to be had, and you can do it and have a prosperous, thriving marriage. Don't just settle for a mediocre marriage. Amen. Don't just settle for a trying marriage or a striving marriage, but don't be satisfied until you have a thriving marriage, because you can do it.
Amen. Well, until next week, y'all. Peace. See you later.
God bless.
Thank you for listening to the Still in Love podcast. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode and it has indeed blessed your life. If it has, we need you to do 3 things for us. 1, we want you to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform, so that way you can be notified when a new episode drops. Number 2, we want you to review it. Click on that 5-star and let us know how much you enjoyed it. We absolutely love feedback here at the Still in Love podcast, and this helps us to make sure that we are scratching where there's an itch. And number 3, we want you to share it with a friend or family member. Also, if you have a question, we'd love to hear it and even talk about it right here on the podcast. You can submit those questions at stillinlovepodcast.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Innovation Church Memphis, and on TikTok at We Are Innovation. Until next time, peace.
Don't just start in love,
but stay in love.
Thanks for tuning in to Still in Love podcast. God bless.